Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. Welcome again to another one of our seniors fitness sessions from home. Today I'm trying out a new microphone, so I'd like to hear your comments and feedback. You can leave those either below or you can just send me an email and let me know what you think, if it's a better sound quality and if you feel it improves the overall experience. Today's session is going to be a little different from usual because I thought it would be important if I put in a session where we're sitting down the whole time. This isn't one that you should be repeating every day unless you absolutely have to and have no other options. But for those of you who have some lingering pains or back pains, or if you have an injury in your knee and foot that's causing you or just preventing you from being able to stand or move around in the first place, or at least stand for long periods of time, then this is the kind of session that will enable you to at least get some exercise in the meantime. So, without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get started. So grab yourself a chair, and you'll need a band also for the session today. We're going to start by warming up the feet and the legs. So I'm going to have you just extend the right foot out first and flex the thigh as hard as you can. We're going to point and flex the foot as fast as you can. Obviously, some of you are going to go a little faster than me. Some of you are going to be a little slower than me. Doesn't really matter as long as you're doing your utmost to go as fast as you can go. We're going to do this for about 30 seconds. I'm trying my best to talk my way through it to distract you. Good. And then go ahead, put that foot down and lift up the next foot and start pointing and flexing as fast as you can. Ideally, you're trying to maintain really excellent posture, or at least good posture. You can utilize the back brace that I've shown you on other days. The back brace simply means that you'll sit right up against the back of your chair so that your back is touching it, your bum is touching the base of the back of the chair, and then you'll just squeeze your abs in a way that your belly button moves in towards the base of the chair. And that's it, that's all it is. It's a little abdominal brace. Okay, now we're going to switch legs again, and this time we're going to do a clockwise directional circle with our right foot. If your back's still really bothering you, then you can allow yourself to slouch a little bit and use the full support of the back of the chair. I mean, the whole point of today's session is to enable you, let's switch directions with that foot, is to enable you to get exercise in the first place when you otherwise wouldn't be able to. Okay, that's about enough for those rotations. Let's switch feet now. We're going to do a counterclockwise direction, first with this foot. Again, I'm encouraging you to go as fast as you can right now. This is really a part of the warm-up. We're trying to warm up your legs and your hips and your feet. We've got lots of work for your shoulders and arms today also, so don't worry about that. And then switch direction. We're going to do a clockwise directional circle now. And then finish that up. Here's the final movement to put all that together. We're going to extend both legs, we're going to pick our feet up, and we're going to alternate the point and flex of both feet. I'm calling this a flossing technique. You're going to do it as fast as you can. So now we're using our muscles in the front of our shins, your tibialis, you're using your calves in the back, you're using your quads in the front of your thigh, and actually you're using your hip flexors and a little bit of your abdominal strength as well to accomplish this. Now, if that's really difficult for you, you're still experiencing some pain while we do this, you can just do it one foot at a time again. Second time around, there's no problem with that. Okay, put those feet down and relax. There's the warm-up done. So for this first exercise, you're going to have a few options. I want you to start just doing this action with me, where you're extending and flexing the knee. Extending and flexing. I'm trying to allow it to swoop along the ground, so if you see me do this from the side, I'm not letting giving the foot or the leg the chance to rest. It's working the whole time. Now, for those of you who want to make this a little bit more difficult, we're going to extend and lift the thigh up off the seat of the chair. So if you want to get the extra exercise in and develop even more strength, this is a great way to do it for both the quads and the hip flexors. You should be, if you're doing it this way, you should be feeling it by now. We'll just do a few more. Excellent. And then switch legs. So for those of you who prefer just to do the extension and flexion without having to lift the thigh up, and stick to that. going to be a moderate pace this time. Every time you extend the leg, I want you to, or as I call it, artificially squeezing the muscles. That means, to me at least, squeezing the muscles harder than you actually have to squeeze them to perform this action. Now everyone else who wants to make it a little bit more difficult, now we can start raising the leg. If you're not going to raise the leg, just continue extending and flexing the knee. And you should be starting to feel it in your hips if you're not already feeling it in the thigh. It's a great feeling. And it's important to work these muscles because they have a lot to do with hip stability, which in turn has a lot to do with how your knees feel and how your pelvis and spine align with one another and how your back feels. Okay, you can stop with that foot now. We're going to do a follow-up on those exercises. I'm really working this chain of muscles. To begin, we're going to pick up our foot and we're going to do a bicycle action. For this bicycle action, we're going to count to multiple of 8, pedaling backwards, starting from, if you put your hands up, it's a little bit harder. Put the hands on the chair and rest against the chair if your back's bothering you. So starting from 0, 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48, 56, 64, 72, and 80. Let's switch legs and pedal backwards with the left, counting back from 80, 72, 64, 56, 48, 40, 32, 24, 16, 8, and 0. Now let's take a little break here before we move on to get a little bit of a stretch in. After all, I'm really being mindful today of people who've got some tension in their back. So I want you to just take that knee, if you can, and just hug it in. And it doesn't matter to me if this is a hug, or if this is a hug, or if this is a hug. Bring it in as much as you can. We're just going to hold it for a few seconds and then drop it. Go ahead and switch your legs. If your back's bothering you and you need to use this as a support, go ahead, scoot your bum forward a little bit and use the back of the chair as a support. Let's switch legs again. We can do this 4 or 5 times on each leg. Let's switch legs again. This is actually a really great stretch to do if you're lying in bed in the morning or at night. I like doing it first thing in the morning, although it helps set me up for a good sleep too. Where I just tuck one knee in towards my chest at a time. Just let the back loosen up and relax. And we'll do one more on each side. Excellent. Okay. Now, a light hamstring stretch. You all know this one, but we're going to do it a little bit differently in terms of the timing today. So sit upright, extend your right leg forwards, lean your left elbow on your left thigh, and then all we're going to do is reach towards our toe, tuck the toe in towards the knee. So all together, we're going to reach towards the toe, take a deep breath in, and then come out of it. So just very short little stretches. Reach, take a breath in as you reach, and release. We're going to do that 5 more times. 5, breathe in, breathe out. Tuck the toe in. 4, breathe in, breathe out. 3, tuck the toe in, breathe in, breathe out. 3, breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in. Nice deep breaths in if you can. Breathe out. And we'll do one more. Breathe in. And breathe out. Now tuck that right foot in. Let's extend the left foot forwards and do the same thing with the left side. So breathe in. Ooh, and breathe out. I imagine that with this new microphone, breathe in and breathe out. With this microphone, you might be hearing my cat bothering me right now. He's asking to go out. Breathe in for 3 and breathe out. 4, breathe in. His name is Chaos. And breathe out. And he is the best cat hunter that I've ever had. Breathe in. And breathe out. And you know what? One more for good luck. We're going to take a deep breath in and breathe out. So I put up with his antics because he provides a very useful service. I'm going to pause our programming just for a moment right now. All right, we're going to resume our regular programming here. I apologize for that little distraction. Chaos is out to catch some more rodents for me. So for this next one, what we're going to do is a fold forward. So I'd like it if you widen the stance of your feet. Now I'm going to just show you from the side. We're going to reach up in the air with our arms, and if that action's too much involving the arms, just pick the rib cage up and you can keep your hands in your lap. So either one works. And just try to stretch out your abdominal wall here and your lats. Deep breath in, release, and then either with your hands on your lap or reaching down to the ground, you're going to let yourself fold forward. And I try to fold primarily from my low back first. It doesn't mean that I don't want to allow you to flex your spine. It means that I don't want you to start flexing the spine from the top, from your thoracic and cervical spine. I'd rather you keep an okay posture, rest on your thighs with your hands or elbows. So we're primarily folding through the seam in the hip, and then you can relax the rest of the spine and reach forwards towards the ground. We're going to take a deep breath in down here. And breathe out as we rise up. Let's go ahead and pick up our rib cage or both your arms in your rib cage again. We're going to do this 3 times in a row, starting from this one. Deep breath in. And then breathe out. Reach down towards the ground. Going towards the ground is too low for you. Just rest on your knees or thighs. Rise up. Take a deep breath in as we stretch upwards. I'm really extending my spine here. It's extension and flexion of the spine. Breathe in on your way down. Breathe out to the neutral position. Breathe up. Breathe in on your way up. Breathe out. Take a deep breath in at the bottom. Breathe out. This is the last one. Okay, I love that stretch. Low back, it's great. So you're going to want to grab your rubber band now. And I'm going to combine 3 exercises in one for efficiency's sake. So go ahead and loop that band around your left foot. It doesn't have to be your left foot. I usually tell you to do it on your right foot. Just keeping everything balanced. We're going to do 3 movements here. We're going to pull our arms back, like that, as far back as we can, keeping the hands low. We're going to pull our hands out, keeping the hands wide, and then we're going to lift the arm, and then this last one, we're going to lift the hands, we're going to rotate the arms out like this, so I'm forming a W shape from my arm to my head to my other arm. So once again, do this with me. It's back and low, it's back and wide, it's a bend of the elbows and a rotation back of those arms. Okay, we're going to do 1, 2, and 3 in order. We are going to count the following sequence: 5, 5, 5, 6, 6, 6, 8, 8, 8, 9. One number for every 3 reps. So 5, out, and rotate. 5. If you get fatigued halfway through this, just make your range of motion a lot smaller. 5. That's the third one. And this last rotational movement is for your rotator cuffs. I'm combining so many muscle groups. This is 6 into one sequence. 6. And then rotate. 6. Okay, I hope you remember the next sequence. 8. And if you need to rest your back up against the seat, again, go ahead and do that. 8. 8. If you have trouble doing any one of these 3, just do the 2 that you can do, or the one that's most comfortable if that's the case. 8, I think that was the last 8. And then the last number, 9. Okay. Now to count backwards, that sequence, all we're going to do is the rotational one so I can get more work on your rotator cuff. So counting that backwards at 9. Open and rotate. 8. 8. And I know your shoulders are getting really tired right now. 8. Frankly, I'm okay with you being tired. 6. 6. You have the whole rest of the day to recover. 6. And I promise you're going to be feeling better from this. 5. And at the very least, 5, you're much less likely to sustain a serious shoulder injury. 5, or get a frozen shoulder just from doing these exercises. Okay, so then we're going to do one more exercise for the day. This is for your hips, for your glutes, which is also going to help you recover if you've got back pain right now. I want you to loop that band around your shins, just below the knee, and then tie it up. 1 or 2 knots, whatever's going to be secure. Don't take too much time doing that. I made mine nice and tight. So here's what we're going to do. Sitting upright, or if your back needs to have you lean against the chair, get in position. We're going to tap, open the feet and tap with the right foot, and then open the feet and tap with the left foot. You will definitely feel this in your hips if you tied it tight enough. We are going to spell microphone forwards and backwards, starting from M. Switch legs. I. C. Notice I'm really picking the foot up. R. I'm not just sliding it out like this. O. Although that still works. P. You simply won't get as much out of the movement. H. As if you pick the foot up. O. N. E. Oh boy, I really tied my band tight. I'm feeling it. Spell it backwards now. E. No rest. N. O. H. P. O. R. C. I. And M. You can go ahead and remove that band. So the very last thing I do with you today, we're not going to do bouncing or coordination movements because that's not what today is about. Some of you, depending on the nature of your back pain, may or may not be able to do this. So it's optional, but if you can and it feels good or you get a stretch without pain, I would certainly do it because it's going to loosen up your hips and therefore your back. So you're going to grab a step stool, you're going to put the foot up so you rotated the leg, let the knee flop out to the side, or just outright cross the foot over the thigh, but this is a more doable version, and then lean forward. If you want to rest your hands on the cushion or on the step stool or the couch or whatever you're using, go ahead and do it. We're going to take 5 deep breaths in and out here for 5. Slowly letting go of that air. 4. 3. 2. If you can go a little deeper on these last ones, only if you're able, and 1. Okay, let's switch legs. Lean forward or rest on your thigh if that's a little more doable. Start your breaths in at 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1 more, 5. All right, everyone, that is all for today's session. I'll probably put out another exercise version another version of this program performed in a seat in the next few weeks so that you have a few options to flip back and forth between. But when I see you again, we're going to be doing a full body session. So I hope you enjoyed today's session. Please leave your comments and concerns below. If there's something that I'm not addressing that you'd like for me to address, just scroll to the bottom after all the little videos that are linked into this one. Keep scrolling right to the bottom of the page and you'll see a comment section. I don't usually get a lot of comments, and in fact I like responding to comments and I like your feedback because it makes my program a lot better and it keeps me in touch with what you want, especially in this time when I can't actually be there in person with you. So, stay active, stay healthy, stay safe. Bye everyone.